I wrote, "For the Romantics, nature was absolutely necessary for one to be fully connected to their creative side. Without being immersed in nature, you could not achieve the great creativity within you while there is little to no nature around you." In the lines, "Now I see what there is in a name, a word, liquid, sane, unruly, musical, self-sufficient. I see that the word of my city is that word from of old, because I see that word nested in nests of water bays, superb. Manhattan of my city. Manhattan is the Lenape language, means the land of many hills. Whitman sees a city, one whose name has had several variations throughout time, but no matter what, is still a great city that serves a glorious purpose, a home and a workplace for millions."
I'm Rachel, and my favorite line from the poem is, "A million people, manners free and superb, open voices, hospitality, the most courageous and friendly young men." That is the major thought that comes across my head when I stroll around Manhattan, no matter what area I'm in. Walking around here is so different than walking around in the suburbs.
Hi, I'm Marcus. One of the lines that I really liked was, "Numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising towards clear skies." I feel like this well describes the way that I have currently view, and likely will always view Manhattan. For me, it's a place filled with massive buildings as far as the eye can see, and almost anywhere you look up you can see some incredibly tall buildings. The streets are always filled with people going somewhere, likely to one of those giant buildings.
I'm Imke. Numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising towards clear skies. As Whitman states, the crowd is something that never lessens in the city. There's always a large group of people walking towards you at all times, no matter what day or time it is. Immigrants arrive 15 or 20,000 in a week. When you're walking in the city, you can see a number of different races and ethnicities all located in the same geographic area.
I'm Sabrina. My favorite part is Whitman writes, "Immigrants arriving 15 or 20,000 in a week. This also reminds me of when we walk along the seaport down towards Battery Park, you get a clear view of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty has always been a symbol of hope to immigrants."
I'm Michael. My favorite quote was, "The downtown streets, the jobber's house of business. The houses of business of the ship merchants and money brokers. The river streets, immigrants arriving 15 or 20,000 in a week. The carts hauling goods, the manly race of drivers of horses, the brown-faced sailors." The first line in this talks about the downtown streets lined with houses and businesses filled with people from all different walks of life. The second line delves further into the people living in those houses by describing the people the author sees in the area. For mass amounts of immigrants arriving to men-leaning horses, the town seems to be alive with energy and excitement. Without the constant influx of new people into the area, it wouldn't be as active and lively as it is currently, and that's the reason why he loves living there so much.
Hi, I'm Fausto. The line I chose is "The summer air, the bright sun shining, the sailing clouds aloft, the winter snows, the sleigh bells, the broken ice in the river, passing along up or down with the flood tide and ebb tide, and the mechanics of the city, the masters, well-formed, beautiful-faced, looking you straight in the eyes."
Hi, I'm Joshua. Whitman wrote, "Rich, hemmed thick all around with sail ships and steamships, an island 16 miles long, solid founded, numberless crowded streets, high growth of iron, slender, strong, light, splendid, uprising towards clean skies." Now my turn. "I adore strolling the streets because I may never see the same person again, even though we might live 2 feet away from each other. It also fascinates me that all of our shoes that stomp the streets do not use the same surface for a very long time."
Hi, I'm Elena. City of heart and sparkling water, city of spires and masts, city nested in bays. My city is the most effective to describe this poem because it helps the reader understand the affection the author is experiencing for this location. The author knows this is his home and everything is dear to him, starting with the busy towns and ancient architecture that is hard to find, or the tall towers giving us the perfect view of the shores.
Hi, I'm Rachel. One of the lines that makes me feel like it catches the essence of Mannahatta is, "The downtown streets, the jobbers' houses of business, the house of business of the ship merchants and money brokers, the river streets." Although this poem was written in 1867, Whitman's observation of the downtown Manhattan culture has proven to remain timeless to this day. I feel that as someone who spends a good majority of their time in downtown Manhattan, it's always refreshing to read something so full of pride for this ever-changing and historic neighborhood.
So the quotes, I'm Elizabeth, and the quotes that stood out to me is, "Now I see what there is in a name, a word, liquid, sane, unruly, musical, self-sufficient. and the mechanics of the city, the masters, well-formed, beautiful-faced, looking you straight in the eyes. I think these quotes are important because they show that the aspects that make Manhattan unique and special have withstood the test of time. The first quote uses a description that I would still use to describe the city today: unruly, musical, self-sufficient. When you walk through the streets of Manhattan, you usually can't go more than 2 blocks without hearing music. Whether it is from a street performer, a radio from an apartment, or even just the rhythm of trains coming and going. It is unruly as well. There is always something happening. As you walk through the city, you are passing millions of other lives. You never know what waits for you around a corner in New York.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I wrote, growing up, I've always dreamed of escaping to the city, but my mom often said that the city was dangerous and that I wasn't to cross to the other side without telling my parents first or go without them. I longed to experience all the adventures I saw happening on television. A quote from the poem that resonated with me the most was, "A million people, manners free and superb, open voices, hospitality." When it comes to Manhattan, people usually know it as a place full of sky-high buildings and the usual hotspots being Times Square and Broadway. But this is something that is found in all parts of the city every day, no matter what time it is.
Hi, I'm Teresa, and I chose the quote, "Immigrants arriving 15 or 20,000 in a week," because New York City has always been a beacon of hope for those who've needed it. This quote also has special meaning to me because my mother's parents and their families arrived on Ellis Island in the early 1900s. I also chose the quote, "Trotters thronged, vehicles Broadway, the women, the shops and shows, a million people, manners free and superb, open voices, hospitality, the most courageous and friendly young men," because these 2 quotes are New York City. New York City is a bustling city with insane traffic caused by all the vehicles and a billion different things to do.
Hi, I'm Brian. The quote that I chose is, "Numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising towards clear skies." And what I said was, during my walk on this island, I found myself looking up at the Freedom Tower. The Freedom Tower is an inspiring building because one can see the high growths of iron, the strength of the building, the light that cascades off it, and how it rises towards a clear sky.
I'm Nashia, and one of the quotes that I chose is, "Numberless crowded streets, high growth of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising towards clear skies." Manhattan is well known for its beautiful and diverse architecture that portrays so much of not only the city's history, but also the history of the people that lived here in the past, and how so many cultures have come together to make an amazing city. The other quote that I chose was, rich hemmed thick all around with sailships and steamships, an island 16 miles long, solid founded." This reminds me of one of my favorite things to do in Manhattan, going to Seaport and watching the ferries.
I'm Alina, and one of the quotes I chose was, "Numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising towards clear skies." And I said the amount of people, the hustle and bustle is something that really drew me here in the first place. It also reminds me of the many times of just sitting in my window and looking out at all the buildings we can see for miles. You can see into Brooklyn on one side and into Jersey City on the other. Some places you can't see anything but grass and trees and nothingness, but here the skyscrapers really are uprising toward clear skies. And it's nice to hear, it's the nicer side of Manhattan, not the trash-smelling, taxi honking side. It's refreshing to see the city portrayed in such a soft light.
Hi, my name is Sabine, and one of the quotes I picked was, "Numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising towards clear skies." This first quote is important because I believe that it helps to capture the major environmental aspects of what makes New York City so well known. No matter what time of day it is, the streets are always bustling with people going about their ways. Manhattan is also known for its tall industrial buildings, having some of the tallest buildings in the world. The second quote I picked is, "A million people, manners free and superb, open voices, hospitality, the most courageous and friendly young men." The crowded streets are full of millions of people that are full of life, and most of them are welcoming to others of different backgrounds, such as immigrants and tourists. Manhattan is one of the most known diverse cities in the world, and everyone of different backgrounds are usually treating each other with respect and are willing to accept different cultures, causing New York City to be a well-known melting pot. Manhattan has everything one can think of, and the poem encompasses the true nature of the city.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and the quote that I chose from Mannahatta was, "Numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising toward clear skies." Before I had ever even visited New York City, I held a romanticized view of it. My knowledge and therefore understanding of the city was directly related to what I saw on the TV show Gossip Girl.
Hi, I'm Angelica. The quote I chose was, "Immigrants arriving 15 or 20,000 in a week, the carts hauling goods, the manly race of drivers of horses, the brown-faced sailors." These quotes highlight not only that people are flocking from everywhere, but there are also lots of foods and goods coming into the city as well, and the vast openness of Manhattan.